All right, welcome to the Franchise Time Machine. Yeah, Talk Meta, we're doing an era-specific experiment tonight. You're right that most of our experiments take place in 2023. This one we're doing 1910. It's a little bit of a continuation of one that we did the other day. I'm not sure if you were here for it, but in episode 131, we tested contact, power, gap, and I in 2023, and then in 1910 to see how they compared. And so that's why tonight we're doing contact with other attributes because we found that contact was most important in 1910, which I think was a surprise to some people. I think it seemed like the conventional wisdom that a lot of, at least some of the streamers were promoting in their roster builds was that gap was most important um, in Deadball. And now it could be that a gap is important if it's coupled with contact, but that's not what I was hearing. I was hearing that it was gap. And we knew that BABIP is the most important. Uh, we knew that. Well, I mean, you're partially right there, Max, because BABIP is part of contact, and we proved that contact was the most important. So one thing we might do down the road is try to disaggregate which part of contact is more important, because you can get to 550 contact in two ways. You can get there by boosting the avoid K, or you can get there by boosting the BABIP. Um, I think that's a little deceptive though, and that's hard to do in the completely average league because I think it's the more high stuff pitchers you have, I think the more important avoid K is, and the more low stuff pitchers you have, the more important BABIP is. And I've been saying all along, and like I didn't have the platform of streaming for a lot of it, but there everyone was jumping on board BABIP at the beginning of the cycle for batters, and that was absolutely right. But I kept saying, like, as soon as there are more high stuff pitchers, I think avoid K is going to become more important too. And then maybe we're going to have to shift to looking at contact instead of just BABIP. And the reason I was saying that was because there were so many good low stuff pitchers at the beginning of the cycle, like your Tewksbury's and your uh, Consuegras, and there are just a bunch of these pitchers with great home run suppression and eye or control, which we did find early in the cycle were important. But to counter it and to keep them as silver in exchange, they had low stuff, and I think that was why BABIP was carrying the day early in the cycle. And I think now I've heard a couple of streamers talking about avoid K becoming more important. Um, and so and that's the difference between perfect team and um, base game, right? In base game, there's no power creep, and so we can do these controlled experiments. In perfect team, things are changing all the time, and so I think you can take some of the core principles that we figure out from these experiments, but it's hard to apply them, or you have to apply them in the context of the power creep. So anyway, as part of that, I think it was interesting proving out that contact was the most important batting attribute in 1910. It's the power of 1910, right? In 2023, power carries the day. Um, but I think people made a good point in the stream, which is, well, maybe gap is important if it's coupled with power. And I think that's absolutely possible. So we're going to test that. Now, our four favorite things to test are always control, gap, and power. So we're taking control out. So I decided to add stealing in. Ezra Denny, thank you for the raid. Welcome, Raiders. Yes, I can. That's something Ezra and I can agree with, which is to curse the Dodgers. I'm a Mets fan, and so we're now trailing the Dodgers 3 games to 1 after yet another drubbing at the hands of the Dodgers. When we went down 2-1, I wasn't too worried because we still had two more games at home. But now it's 3-1. It's not looking too good. Um, but anyway, Welcome, Raiders. Ezra, I did catch a lot of your stream. So I was starting up as you were hitting the seventh inning stretch. Did I miss the seventh inning stretch, or was there no seventh inning stretch today? I'm assuming I missed it because you always have something interesting for seventh inning stretch. But no, no seventh inning stretch, says Max. Okay, well, hopefully there'll be something doubly interesting. I did see you were. I heard you talking about the earthquake. Oh, thank you, Ezra. Oh, I appreciate it. You didn't have to do that, but I do appreciate it. Thank you. Raiders, what we do here in this stream is, you saw Ezra doing a save, 1959, now 1960 Giants save. Um, we'll raid into tonight, we'll raid into Max LP 80, who does tournament play, bronze and silver tournaments in particular, and is also doing a save, a 1994 Mariner save. But in this stream, we do a lot of experimentation and a lot of games in the base game. So the base game engine, we've been told by OOTP developments, is similar to the engine that runs Perfect Team, uh, but we weren't necessarily told how similar or in which would be different. But we're going to assume that like whatever things that we learn um, in the base game uh, might apply more broadly to Perfect Team as well. The other thing we do is we play different games in my stream. So one of the more popular ones last stream on Tuesday, the Nolan Network podcast played Creator Roster, which is a game where you have 26 roster spots. And oh wait, that's the Deadball edition. Here's the regular edition. Um, and so when you use the player generation engine, hey Kitty Poo Poo, good seeing you. Um, you can generate players at different levels: legend, star, good, average, bench, and scrub. And legend is pretty much like a future Hall of Famer. Um, so you get 4 legend, 5 star, 5 good, 5 average, 5 bench, and 2 scrub. But you have to designate what positions, right? And so here's an example: who our current champion, EVC and NYC, who you've probably seen stream, but if you haven't, let's give. I'm not going to give. I don't think I have to give Ezra a shout out since you were just in his stream. But let's give a shout out to EVC and NYC too. If you're not following EVC, I highly recommend it if you need a perfect team or to OTP. He runs the theme teams and does lots of great content on understanding the game better, understanding the history of baseball and how it connects to perfect team and OTP. It's a great stream, great content, great streamer. So anyway, this is EBC's list. So I send everyone who plays a form, and they enter in like what positions they want at each level, and then we generate 5 players at for each roster spot. So 5 legend level second baseman, and whoever's playing that day has to pick which one they want to keep. The other 4 we delete, and we keep going through the roster until they have all 26 players. And so that's a fun game. We played in 2023. They take over the team of their choice in 2023. Nolan took over the Cincinnati Reds, um, and went on a 32 game winning streak, and still finished 1 game short of EVC's record. So it was pretty exciting, pretty fun stream. That's just one of the many games we play. Other than that, we do experiments, and then we also do some simulations. Like what's one I did recently? Usually it's when something like noteworthy happens. Like let me see if I can find one. Well, I can't find the slide for it, but when Willie Mays passed away earlier this year, I took 4 peak Willie Mays seasons and added those four versions of Willie Mays to the Mets. For those of you who might not know, Willie Mays ended his career with the Mets, and so I felt fine claiming him. And just to see, what happens if you add four peak Willie Mayses to the 2023 Mets? So just stuff like that. But tonight we're in experimentation mode, and we actually do pack giveaways too, so you can guess the outcome of the experiment and win packs. So in fact, let's do that. I like to get the form up early because you do not have to be present to win. So I'm going to copy a recent form, and then once I have it started up, I will put it on the screen so you can. Max, that's like calling shotgun before you leave the building. You can't tell me to open the form before I've even started the form. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to copy the one we did from the first version. So we did an earlier version of the. That's not it. That's it. We tested the impact of what happens when you give. So we have a completely average league where everyone in the league is completely identical and completely to league average attributes. And for each team, we gave their batters one attribute at the maximum, which is 550. So one team had all 14 hitters had 550 contact. Another team, all 14 hitters had 550 power. We did the same for gap, power, and eye, and to see how they did. And we kind of already knew what was going to happen because we've done something like that before, and we know power is the most important thing in 2023. There are a couple of reasons for that. I won't go into them because it's a little bit lengthy, but there's also all my VODs are on YouTube, so you can probably find that episode. I'm in the process of exporting them right now, so maybe if it's not on YouTube, it's on Twitch somewhere. Anyway, but then we took the whole experiment, redid it in 1910, and it turns out. I mean, you probably expect power is not going to be the most important thing because that era is so low on power. But the most important attribute turned out to be contact. So tonight we want to find out, okay, if we know contact's the most important, then what other attribute when it's maxed out goes best with contact? Now, part of why I did this was for my own purposes and for the purposes of people who watch my stream, is when we're doing Deadball era tournaments, whether it's draft tournaments set in Deadball era or traditional tournaments set in Deadball, or if you're playing base game in Deadball. It's helpful to know like what attributes should you be focusing on. And there were some streamers who were saying, "Oh, like I focus on cap power for Deadball." Um, and I was like, "Okay, well that kind of makes sense, but well, why don't we find out?" And so part of what I was trying to do was, okay, like can we objectively determine which is most important? Um, it's small sample sizes. It's two full season experiments run simultaneously, but the results were pretty convincing that it was contact. So, but gap still might be most important if it's paired with contact, and so that's why I kind of wanted to do this second level experiment, building on the previous one. So, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I was updating the form. Let me make a copy of this. I'll retitle it and then I'll put it up on the screen. And as I edit it, you can start thinking about your responses. So, episode 135, batting, contact plus in 1910. That's what we'll call it. So it's a 10-pack giveaway, 7 packs to first place, 3 packs to second place. Okay, so let me put this up on the screen. I'm still working on the content, but at least you can follow along, see what I'm doing. give you a little head start. Okay, so I've changed the title. So in tonight's experiment, we'll try to determine um, in 1910, what batting attribute goes best with high contact? Power, gap power, patience eye, and since we have 4 teams and 4 slots, rather we can add one more attribute. Now I know stealing is really important in the dead ball era, so I thought we'd try maximum stealing too. For stealing, I was thinking about this, whether to just increase the stealing ability attribute to 250. So for batting attributes, maximum is 550. For secondary attributes and some primary attributes like P BABIP and stamina, the maximum is still 250. I don't know why OOTP scaled some up to 550 and not others, but that's how it is. Okay, so each team in the Clean Average League will have um, all 14 of their batters have their contact increased to 550 by increasing both BABIP and avoid K the same amount. And I think it's around 550. Sorry, 538. Then each team will have then all 14 batters on each team will have one additional attribute set to the maximum. 550 or 250 for stealing. We will then simulate you know what? It's important to note this is a 162 game season. So modifiers odd means we are going to let the AI adjust the outputs for the season to match 1910. Normally we turn modifiers off because we don't want the AI kind of tamping things down, but this is the only way to make the era work. Deli Sports, I'm glad you're excited to see the results. I am too. This is one of my favorite kinds of experiments where it's something I've really wanted to know for a while, or I've been hearing things from other people that sound completely reasonable, but I have no idea what's actually going to happen. Um, and look, this is I'll say this over and over. This is in no way intended to throw shade at anyone who's had theories, but it's my attempt to just put some uh, objective, data behind those theories. Um, I'm not critical at all of anyone who has these theories because I think a lot of times what happens, and we've talked about this in this stream before, but for the newcomers, this will be new to you. There's what makes sense in baseball, but that what makes sense in baseball is only going to happen in the game if the game is programmed that way. So I worry that a lot of times people are sharing with best intentions and with lots of baseball knowledge that what happens in baseball, and then they share that as if that's what's going to happen in the game, whether it's base game or perfect team. But the problem with that is that's only going to be true if the developers understand that truth about baseball and then program the game to reflect that, right? The OOTP isn't baseball. It's a simulation of baseball. And the simulation is only as smart as the developers make it. And so if there's some nugget of baseball truth that the developers weren't aware about, there's no reason the game's going to do that. And so a lot of these theories or hypotheses that other people have, they're completely valid from a baseball perspective. I just don't know if the game's been coded that way. And so, um, and I hope people take these experiments in the with the with that intention in mind, right? I'm not trying to prove anybody wrong. I'm not trying to prove myself right. I'm just trying to find out if the game is coded in the way we would expect real baseball to work. That's it. And sometimes we find out, it's they did a really great job of figuring it out. And other times we find things that are a little off, but they're off probably out of necessity to simulate such a complex sport as baseball. You know, you you can't simulate everything, at least not yet. And so, you have to find some ways to simplify things or make it codable. And part of the fun is trying to figure out like what are those things, and maybe that'll help us play the game better. Okay, so we'll use our complete average league in 1910. Uh, Contact, right? We already said that. Power set to 550. So contact is not one of the four. So one is maximum contact plus power, right? And then the second one is maximum gap, contact plus gap. And then the third one is maximum contact plus I. And the last one is maximum contact plus stealing. I want to say ability and aggressiveness in case that changes your guesses. Both set to 250, which is top of the scale. We'll use now. The main thing is the modifiers are going to be auto calced and on. This is different from what we usually do. I want to bold it because it is a pretty big difference from what we usually do. The main reason we have to do this is if we don't do this, we won't get the dead ball experience. It'll just be like running it in 2023, or maybe 2010. We have to have the modifiers on to get the dead ball results. And we said this last time, but there's probably a lot of new people here. We are going to take the average of some averages, which is not mathematically correct, but it's a simplifying step we're going to take. It's specifically for OPS, I think. OPS, yeah, OPS. Maybe we'll weight it. Maybe we'll weight it by plate appearances or at bats. I can take some of the messiness of taking averages of averages out. But so the reason we do that is because we have two simultaneous experiments running. This league has 4 teams, but it has 4 in the average league and 4 in the neutral league. And they don't have interleague play. So we actually get 2 sets of results in one simulation. So there's two control power teams. There's a control power team in the average league, and there's a control power team in the neutral league. To get the total control power results, we actually like combine the two. So for things like uh, uh, quantities, we'll just sum them, right? So home runs across both teams. But for OPS, we're going to average them because it's a rate. And it'll be an average of averages, which is not mathematically correct, but it's a simplifying assumption. So, and I don't mind doing stuff like that as long as I put it in the form so you know what's happening. We're not using prices right rule, so you can be over on your guesses. It's just whoever's closest. And to get your packs, this is not a thing in our stream. This is a thing OOTP developments for to get you your packs. Your login ID has to be have the correct capitalization. It's case sensitive. Um, so please make sure that's correct. And then your Twitch username doesn't have to be. This is just what I'm going to use to share like who won or and so we can announce the winners in the stream. Okay. So team power, team gap, and team steal. Okay, which team will score the most runs? AL and NL combined. Okay, we're gonna use runs as a measure of effectiveness. We used to use team record, but team record has too many is too impacted by other variables than the ones we're testing. So we moved away from that. Which team will have the highest OPS? I like this one because it's a rate. It's a rate that's only affected by the batter and the pitcher. It's even more pure than run scored because there's lots of other factors that can go into run scored. Oh, you know what? I should have. Let's just copy this first question because the choices are the right choices now. And then I'll just change the question. There we go. So that's stealing. So now I can delete this one. We don't have to. There are two sets of questions. The last time we did in 2023 and 1910. Where this time we're just doing it in 1910. Okay, and then numerical questions. This is survivor style. So it's not a tiebreaker in that whoever's closest in this will win unless there's a tie, but whoever's closest will win the 7 packs. Then everyone who's still left will go to the next question. We're not going to take the second closest in this question. So instead of home runs, which we it was very power focused last time because power is the most important factor in 2023. Let's do how many runs will be scored by the team AL and NL combined that scores the most runs. And let's look up. I'm going to use baseball reference to look this up, but I'll show you what I'm looking for here. We're going to look up 1910 Major League Baseball. So this is BREF, baseballreference.com. I apologize. I often call it BREF, forget that people might not know what that's short for. These are the 1910 league stats. And if you look at the bottom, you can see league average. So league average was 599 runs in the season. So 1910 actual is 599. or 1198 for two teams. Right, because it's AL and NL combined. Oh wait, that's for 154 games though, right? How many? I think they probably played 154 back then. 150, 154. Yeah, I think the ones that are shorter because of cancellations, but they were scheduled for 154. Our sim is 162 games. And then what will be the OPS of the team with the highest OPS in 1910? AL and NL averaged. So when you think about these run totals, you keep in mind it's the 599 for 154 games. It's also for the average of the major leagues. Our teams have batters with 550 power, 550 contact, 550 I. So I would expect that number to be significantly higher than 599. The 599 is just to give you some point of reference. I'm assuming it's going to be much higher than that. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to add a third question because as much as I like giving away packs, I'm supposed to give away 10 per night or 10 per stream. And we've had some amazing guesses where things like war, which it's the decimal point, we've had two second place finishers guess the exact same war. I think twice now. So I've had to ask OOTP developers for extra packs that I wasn't supposed to give away. So to try to keep that from happening, I'm going to add a third numerical question. And I forgot to think about what that might be. Um, all right. How many wins? How many regular season wins? And is this supposed to be AL and NL separate? So just a single team. I'm going to say single team. So this is out of 162 games, not out of 324. I apologize if these are confusing and someone loses because it's confusing. I am fully admitting it's confusing, but they're free packs. So, uh, anyway, it might be if you have any questions, I'm here in the stream. You can ask me if you're worried that you're interpreting it wrong. But that's also why I like to walk through it with everybody. Okay, so let me turn this on, and then let me share this in the stream. Okay, I'm going to pin it too. So link to form for tonight's 10-pack giveaway. All right, let me pin that. Everyone's eligible to enter. Um, you don't have to be here to win. I collect your OTP username so I can submit that to OTP developments. As long as you come in first or second, you'll get your packs. Speaking of OTP developments, thank you to OTP developments for the packs that we get to give away and also for the drops you get by watching the stream. And you can get more streams watching Max after me. And also Max goes long enough usually to go into the next day of drops. So the international dateline of drops, of Twitch drops. So you can start getting your morning drops by watching Max. All right, so there's the form. Let's go back to the base game. Max plans on 1:30 a.m. today minimum, which I think that is that maximum drops, Max? That's not what I want to put. I want to put out the base game. I think they reset it to how many drops can they get from us? 5? And I think that is the last one 30 minutes. Is the silver pack 30 minutes? So anyway, I think that means if you raid into Max with us and Max goes till 3:30, you will actually have all of your tomorrow affiliate drops by the time he finishes. So that's cool. Oh, I meant to be showing the base game, but I don't have the base game on yet. Let me turn that on. Yeah, so I think it's very cool on the nights that Max streams that you can get your night and morning drops. That's a new addition to our OOTP community. So we're very happy that Max is able to do that for everybody. All right. You know what? I was gonna make a quick start for the 2023 run environment, but then I realized we're doing 1910 today. You can't do it Thursday anymore. Is that because you're now streaming Friday mornings, Max? Oh, kids in school. Okay. So new game. Um, I show this step by step in case anyone wants to do these things on their own. One thing though, to make it simpler for us in the stream and quicker, is I've created some quick starts. So you won't get to see the entire buildup of some of these things unless you go into the VODs and find them. But it was kind of an important shortcut for consistency too. So we have an average league 4x4, right? That's 14s and 14s. We're up to quick start 12. Now, a lot of these quick starts are created because uh, people in the community did channel point redemptions to rename some of our players. They used to, they're most of them are still called like average infielder 1 or average outfielder 5. Um, but I have a channel point redemption to rename them, and some people took advantage and they created came up with some really good names. Okay, this is um, batting attributes 1910. Oh yeah, Tonkmato. Um, yeah, if you do it right now, if you give me the name right now, I can save it as Quick Start 13 because we're in the master Quick Start right. We'll be in the master Quick Start right now. Okay, hold on. I need you to open it. Mets reliever Bobby Okada. That's amazing. So a lot of the best names for people who haven't been in the stream are based on the fact that this is a complete average league. Uh, so like there's like Curtis Blanderson, and now there's a Bobby Okada, which is amazing. Tomato. Okay, let me open Notepad because I need to make note of the new the experimental save because we might create an experimental quick start. Um, okay, let me put it right here. This is okay. I'm calling it Bat at for batting attributes contact plus 1910 V1. Okay. And we're using average league 4x4 QS13. And I need that because I'm going to rename it after we add Tomato's new player, which is a brilliant name. Fantastic. It's also amusing to me how many of the names I would say the majority of the names are for Mets players. So as a Mets fan, I greatly appreciate that. Okay, we're not gonna be managing any particular team here. We do need to be in commissioner mode, and we cannot be fired. Okay, so first things first, let's add Tomato's new player, and then we'll do a quick start save. The Mets have also been renamed in keeping with the averageness, the Mets. Okay, pitching, reliever. We're actually running out of Mets to rename, which is awesome. We'll start with, I guess, the closer is actually not going to be the closer because the sixth starter ends up being the closer. So we'll just go average reliever one, I guess. Oh no, the closers are in setup role. So let's name the closer one. So if you haven't done editor before, it's pretty awesome. You can change almost anything about a player. So for the nickname, we use the name of the person who chose the name. So Tomato, and we parenthetically keep their original name for purposes of just like tracking what's happening. And then we change the name to Bobby. Okay, that's so good. That is so good, especially because ESPN was just airing again the Once Upon a Time. What's it called? Is it Once Upon a Time in Queens? It's a four-part 30 for 30 documentary about the '86 Mets. That's awesome. Bobby Okada. Oh, that sounds so good. It looks good too. That's an awesome one. Okay, Bobby Okada is in the game. Now let's save this. That's the update. Oh, Max is another one. All right, Max. What? Good timing. Which team and what position and what's the name? Yeah, Tomato. That's a good one to hold on to. I do like the idea of just imagining like everyone from the stream during their day, every once in a while thinking about like a name from an average baseball player. Let's see what this is good. It's better when we can do like a couple in one save. Closer than what Russell Wilson. So do you want it on the average Mariners for Seattle? Yeah, we still have a Seattle. Still have average Mariners. Do you want it on the average Mariners? Okay. Russell Wilson. Wait, that's funny because I was just watching Russell Wilson talking on Sports Center because I guess they're he's always been QB1 this season because he's been hurt. And they haven't Tomlin hasn't announced a starter yet, but I guess because he started one that he's a presumptive starter. So he was being interviewed. So I just saw Russell Wilson talking on TV. He also considered G Nope Smith. Okay, this is going to be a closer. Closer number one. Russell Wilson. Okay. This is a Max LP80 name. and average closer 1. I wonder if it'll look better with a hyphen with off. Or does it look better? Oh, smiley face Jane redeeming one too. Awesome. We can always take the hyphen off if you want to. Russell Wolsoff. That's great. All right, smiley face Jane, what's yours? This is perfect timing. We're gonna do multiples in one quick start. All right, Russell Wolsoff. This entire this entire stream. Ronald O'Kane Jr. All right, there's Claire. Hold on. Let's do closer number 2 while we're in the Mariners. Oh no, wait, you actually wrote Acuna. My brain just filled in Ocania. All right, hold on. Let's do Max's closer first. Geno Smith is amazing too. You know what? When I was playing as that one too. Every time I watch the Seahawks now, I'm not going to be able to not think of Geno Smith. Okay, Smiley Face Jane. Y'all better watch out. Smiley Face Jane is here to win the pack giveaway. So, okay, we do have the Braves. Do you want this on the Braves? So I'm wondering on the spelling. Robert Ocania, which is amazing. Joe DiMaggio, says Tomato. Um, okay, it's gonna be an outfielder. We want a starter, so let's do outfielder 5. Or actually the right fielder, right? So outfielder 4. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. And this is a smiley face, Jane. Okay, here's what I'm thinking is it's Ronald, and should we do it as Ocania Jr.? Or do you want it to be like capital O, capital K? That could work too. Ocania Jr. is amazing. Unfortunately, OOTP doesn't have the N with the tilde over it, the Enye. Uh, so it looks like Ocana, but we all know it's Ocania for Acuna. I'll also show you what it looks like if we do it the other way. Or it could be Ocania Jr. I think the first one looks better. It makes it more clear or you can do it without the hyphen, which is kind of what you wrote. Ocania Jr. Oh, Acuna. Okay, you like with it. Okay. Okay, how about we do it this way then? I see what you're saying. I like what you're saying. What if we do like that? So it's a capital OK. Does that work for you? Or do you want it to be the lowercase k? Now that you explained it, I like what you're saying. So either of these. We put a lot of effort into getting it right. You want the lowercase. Perfect, perfect. Okay. Ronald Ocania. Or would you say it Ocunia? Ocania. Either way, I like it. Okay. Okay, so that one's in the books, I think. Let's arrow down, arrow back up. Yep, there we go. All right, and then oh, Max in the middle, but let's go back. Clay Dog had one. Clay Dog, what's yours? Clay Dog has one, and then Max is another redemption. First baseman, do you have a team you like? Here are the choices. There's Braves, Angels, Mets, Athletics, Phillies. Atlanta's fine. Okay. Um. Oh, how do I? Oh, let me go back. Oh, Phillies. Okay. All right. You want the first baseman, right? Okay. That's. Oh, it's an average infielder four. All right. This is Clay Dog. Don't worry, Clay Dog. It's fine. You can rename an average infielder four. Homer runs it. And Max, if you want to start typing too. Oops. Oh no, I didn't want to do. Oops. Shooter McGavin. And also a star. Okay, hold on. While we're in the Phillies, Dusty Mound. Okay, hold on. You want a starter? Okay. Let's give you the ace. Wait, hold on. I gotta go. Phillies pitching staff. There we go. Okay, their number one starter is actually starter number six. So you'll get their ace. Clay Dog one. Dusty Mound. Average SP6. Okay. All right. And then, oh, Max wants which team? Do you want the Mariners again? Average infielder. Oh, no. First baseman. From on the Mets? Okay. Oh, yeah. Not many Mets batters. Just Bobby Vanilla. Bobby Vanilla and Curtis Blanderson. First base is average infielder three. Shooter McGavin. We all know what he eats for breakfast. Max LP 80. All right. And then I think that's all of them, right? Claydog had two. We got both of those. Max had two. Wait, hold on. I have there's a window that shows me all the redemptions. Let's see if I can find it again. Okay, Claydog had two. We got those. Max had three. I think we had those. And Smiley Face Jane had one, and Tomato had one previously that we can now check off. Okay, I think we're caught up. If there are any more, let me know before I save this quick start. Thank you all for redeeming the channel points. I'm glad people are using these redemptions. It's a lot of fun. Uh, and for those of you who don't know, the points have no monetary value. They're just here to kind of give people who watch the stream a lot some benefit. And so I try to come up with fun channel point redemptions. So I'm glad they're being used. You can play any of the games we do on stream with a channel point redemption as well. And I think I missed something in chat from Smiley Face Jam. I'm trying to scroll up to see. Smiley Face Jam says, I'm 200 points away from another one. Can I give you one early, then redeem it later? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we don't have to, we can do it in the same save. Absolutely. Let's do that. Yeah, Smiley Face Jam, go for it. Yeah, it's much more convenient for me to do it this way. So entire Reno instead of Victor. The length you had to go to for that one is amazing. I just imagine you. No, I totally get it. I just imagine you seeing the name Victorino and thinking, "Oh yeah, that has to be nerfed." Victorino to Reno is amazing. Okay, so I think he played center field, right? And he had a really fun card at the end of last cycle, by the way. What team do you want to put him on? This is sick that we got it. The Phillies. Okay. You had to pin them for 20 minutes. I do like that it's a bit of a thinker. Oh, Plato's got another one too. Okay, let's get Phillies lineups. I mean, I think of Victorino as a center fielder. Do you want him in center field, Smiley Face Jane? Because that would be okay, that's average outfielder 5. And do you want it just as you typed it, or do you want to see what it looks like with a hyphen? Smiley face, Jane. Jane. Iorino is amazing. It's a bit of a thinker. That's kind of what I like about it. Formerly average outfielder 5. So that's what it looks like without the hyphen. That's what it looks like with the hyphen. I don't know if you like one better than the other. Without. Okay. Tyrino. Okay, done. Clay Dog, give me a team and a name. Playdog also has an unused redemption to play creator roster, just waiting for midterms to finish up, right? Phillies catcher. Okay. Uh, Phillies. Okay, starting catcher is average catcher 1. Maybe another week. We're looking forward to it. Oh, speaking of which, we have playing uh Ow me hand. You're Clay. You're gonna have to explain this one to me. I'm not getting it. Ow my hand. Ow my hand. Ow my hand. It's going over my head. Who is it? Who is it based on? Oh no. Okay. Do you want a capital M? His hand hurts from catching the ball. That's amazing. Clay, Clay dog. Oh my hand. I was thinking it was some like obscure like player from like the 40s that I'd never heard of. Nope, my hand just hurts from catching all these balls. That's great. No, that's awesome. Okay. All right. All right. I think if no one else has any more, I'm going to save this quick start. It'll be quick start number. Well, this is why I put it in the notepad. Quick start number. We just used 13, so this will be quick start 14. Okay. Let's save this. Oh, wait, there was something I needed to update in the quick start too. It was. Where was it? There was something that came up last time. Was it something with the also? I don't. Maybe we already fixed it. Okay, no, I think we're good. Okay, save current game was a quick start. Average league 4x4. Quick start 14. All right, thanks for all the names, y'all. That was awesome. More player names from Tom Tomato, Clay Dog, Smiley Face Jane, and Max LP 80. Did I forget anybody? I don't think I did. I think I got it from, but let me double check. Yeah, I think we're good. Let's save that. Okay, that, that was awesome. Talk about how good did it feel to get Bobby Okada finally out of your system? You've been I appreciate you've been holding on for that one for a while because we haven't been in this quick start for a while, but I'm glad we got to hear that one. Okay. All right, so let's go make those changes. The first thing we'll do is rename the teams. This is so I remember what I'm changing. Okay. Now, the unspoken part is contact is part of all these. So it's contact plus power, AL power, and it's contact plus gap, AL gap, and it's contact plus ALI, and it's contact plus stealing, AL stealing. Okay, and then the NL, it'll be the same thing power, NL power, gap, NL gap, I, NL I, and stealing. And I was very pleased that oh maybe like a week or two ago, someone noticed that it's the average league and the neutral league instead of the American League and the National League. That's been in there the whole time, but I didn't mention it because I was waiting for someone to notice it. So I was very pleased when someone noticed it. Okay, so the teams are updated now. As soon as we switch it around between teams, it'll show up as updated. So here we go. This is so that when I look up, I can be reminded what I'm changing on each of these players. Okay, so for this team, everyone's getting maximum contact. I just realized something. This is the master. The master quick start has been updated and it has all the new names in it. But I realized to do this faster, I should go back to the quick start we created for the contact. No, those don't all have contact. No, this is right. This is the fastest way to do it, just to stay in here. Okay. I think we did 538s across the board. This should get everyone to 550. It does. That's how we're going to get the 550 contact in case that affects your answers for the pack giveaway. Now, one thing we should test in 1910 is you can get to 550 a few different ways. One is you max out BABIP, you can have lower void K. But you know what? They're not going to be that different. I don't know that it'll be noticeable. We could test it like at 500 or 450 and have one max out and have one really low. Well, anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Okay, and then I. Oh, the other thing I was thinking is I might have to jack up the stamina of the pitchers so that they can make it through the games because in some of these experiments, no one can qualify for the ERA title because there's too many good hitters and no one can last long enough. Did anyone see the Guardians Yankees game today? It was amazing. It was like my favorite kind of OOTP sim where you look at the win probability graph and just like check out this crazy win probability graph. I haven't seen one for the game, but I imagine it would be crazy because of the way the game played out. And as a neutral for that game, or I don't know, I guess I'm not neutral because I don't like the Yankees, but as a pseudo neutral, it was a super entertaining game to watch. I'm sure it was awful if you're a Yankees fan, and I'm sure it was even more amazing if you're a Guardians fan, but as a neutral, it was super fun game. Also, the bat flipping in that game was great. The Guardians had two pretty much identical bat flips with their big home runs. I became a big fan of bat flipping during the pandemic when I was watching Korean baseball because it was the only sport on, other than like there's some Eastern European soccer on ESPN too, but that was it. And KBO has some great bat flipping in it. And the bat flips tonight for the Guardians, they weren't like huge bat flips, but they were like very nicely executed bat flips, I thought. Oh yeah, you all probably know I like bat flips because I've got all these bat flips in my emotes. Will they still all be animated if I do all four at once? So it looks like they will. Or five. I have five, I guess. Yeah. Three of those are KBO bat flips. I think there are some new. Part of the reason I'm doing these experiments is there are some new Deadball tournaments, and I have to build my first bronze Deadball roster tonight. I'm going to probably do that off stream though. Um, but man, I really liked PT24 Deadball tournaments. So I'm looking forward to playing these. Of course, they didn't have combis in PT24, so I'm not thrilled that I might run into an all combinator team. But the I'm also a little disappointed it's not Deadball run environment. It's modern run environment. Yeah, Clay Dog, you're right. Yeah, that's why I think maybe you typed that just as I was saying that, but it's a little bit of a bummer because I would like to see it in the dead ball run environment, but especially because it was the pitching staffs that were so fun because you could do a 3-man or some people even got aggressive and did a 2-man rotation. Um, you just can't do that in the modern run environment. But anyway, it'll still be fun using a limited set of cards, I think. But yeah, Clay Dog, thanks for the reminder. Okay, so that team's done. It did change how you built the roster. So you mean the fact that it's a modern run environment? Yeah. So this will be more useful for like if PTCS is ever back in Deadball era, or if they come out with a true Deadball tournament. But I've still been dying to know these things, so for me, it's still worth doing it. We're coming up on Owl My Hand. Gonna be interesting once they come with new Deadball cards in a couple. Yeah, I'm hoping with the Deadball cards, they also come out with new, like true Deadball tournaments because they were so much fun. And just the nature of the run environment, you could have here's how my hand. You can have like a 1-0 game or a 3-1 game. And if you could get ahead early on, you could really hang on to that win. But my favorite part was if you used batters faced, because it was in a dead ball run environment too. If you use batters faced, you could go with a 2-man rotation. And so if I was online when any of those tournaments were happening, I would micromanage and look at the other team's lineups and either go like two lefties or two righties, or alternate sometimes, rarely. Um, but yeah, that was super fun. It is an interesting decision though that they made a dead ball tournament but kept it in a modern run environment. I thought that was very odd, a very odd choice. Max says no comment. Maybe they can do the reverse and do what we did in our stream and take like put a live tournament and put it in a 1910 run environment. You enjoy the deadball era in the modern run environment? I think what I miss is that there isn't a deadball run environment tournament because I like getting funky with the rotations and doing like that two-man rotation trick and stuff. Oh, there is a deadball tournament. It's just open. Oh, see, I didn't realize that. Thank you for letting me know. All right. I don't look at open at all, so maybe I should start looking at open. Thanks, guys. I think I qualified for open once, and it was only by accident because Doctor Dynastics thing used to be is silver, and it was open. So I ended up. I ended up qualifying for that. Now there's a low gold time machine too that I think is 1922 or something. Okay. I heard someone talking about that in stream the other day, and I got super confused because I thought I had won a drawing or something, and I was like, what, what's happening? And they were just saying low gold time machine or something. Oh, there's also, you know what? I don't mess with the weekly drafts because it eats up a slot for so long. I haven't bothered with it, but I'm also starting to think maybe I should be doing more quality over quantity. So maybe I'll do some more weeklies. So I don't fall asleep during as many drafts. Oh, here's Cute Thompson. Sly Fishing, I think you said this is a real player. Was it on the Fargo Moorhead team, Twins? Clay Dogs have been doing a lot more weekly drafts. He's gotten busy with school. Paid off for that Pax Link team at least. Okay. So is that so? Clay, are you like consciously doing a uh quality over quantity thing? Browns or something back then? Oh, here's Shane Tyrino. Oh, and that's it. Okay, we're done. All right, the next set of teams is Gap Power. Not really, it's just because they take up a slot for longer. Yeah, so I think because of that, right, you don't cycle through tournaments as fast. Oh, so you're not to do two more drafts and you should be working. I know. I'm gonna have to start working more again once if we get this grant that I've been waiting to hear on. And so if that happens, I think I'm gonna have to start playing fewer tournaments too. Um, there we go. Mark can kinda. This is an early one. Um, editor. Anyways. Okay, this is the first gap power. So let me make, hopefully I can remember not to tab all the way down to I. All right, gap is the first one. That makes it easier. Okay. You know what? I have to type 538 so many times. What if I just copy 538 so I could just paste it each time? Maybe that'll go faster. Oh, except I have to hit Control V, not just V. So, and now I lost the copy. Ah, this is not working well. I guess I'll just stick to the number key. That's what happens when I try to outsmart myself. Yeah, this is much faster since I know how to do it. Did I see I guess was EMLB also on Twitch front page? Because I thought I saw that Dr. Dynastic was going to be on Twitch front page yesterday. Do we have two OOTP streamers on Twitch front page on consecutive days? That's kind of awesome. I mean, I only do this, so I'm never aware of what's on Twitch front page, but there are a bunch of special drops for them too. I did get the special drops for Kamish. I don't know that I got a bunch for Dr. D. Or I must have, because I mean my Twitch accounts were set on them all day, so so my page is like cross fingers one day, franchise rating to Alf Japan on front page. Smileyface Jay did point out that there might be someone who fell asleep watching this stream and then woke up to Alf speaking Japanese. I hope that's true. I hope that did happen to somebody because that would be amazing. Also, they I don't know if this is just Japan, but I have noticed in Japan when they dub movies into Japanese, they pick voice actors with like the most exaggerated voices, like hyper masculine male voices and like really high pitched like female voices. And maybe Japanese TV is just like that, but it to me it stands out way more when it's a dubbed English speaking program because I know the original. Here's Curtis Blanderson. So it just stands out way more to me when I hear that. I think this would be such an odd stream to put on front page. People would be like, "What the hell is this?" It's some dude just typing numbers into a screen. Is it? I can't remember if this is the first or second of the Gap Power teams. We're about to find out. Yeah, the fact that OTP made front page at all is very wild. I was talking to someone the other day. I have no idea. I was talking to someone in real life, so they don't play OTP. I was explaining to them what it was, and has OTP ever published any sort of like head count numbers, even if it's just licenses sold? I mean, you can kind of tell how many people play Perfect Team by looking at the number of leagues, but then you have to decide what number to divide by for multiple accounts, like alt accounts. But at least you can kind of ballpark it. But then, like, I don't think there's any way to tell how many people are buying and just playing base game, right? Yeah, but aren't there a whole bunch of players who don't use Steam either? Like, also played on? I mean, I think that's a good idea, but you think a majority are playing on Steam? Okay, I don't know enough about Steam versus not Steam to understand, but yeah, I mean, it would make sense. Steam is so much more convenient. I mean, I think it's destined to be a niche game, though. Um, oh, so my face hasn't ever bought the Steam version. Interesting. Once I learned about Steam, I just started buying everything on Steam. Here's Bobby Vanilla. Okay, so was that the first or second? That was the second. Okay, we're on to the power team. Well, I think they would understand, Claydog, that I mean, there's a huge convenience that comes from buying it on Steam. Yeah. I mean, here's part of why I think it's destined to remain a niche game too, is I have a license that I won. So I started with one license at the beginning of the cycle. I bought a second one when I started streaming, thinking like, these will just be my streaming accounts. I don't know why I thought it was important to have them separate, but I bought a second license. And then I won a license, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to have 9 teams. And so I reached out to my friends who are baseball fans, and I also reached out to people I used to play Stratomatic with. And I was like, hey, here's this game. It's like Stratomatic, but on the computer, and it's got every card you could ever want, and you can play this perfect team version. And I'm like, I'll just give it to you if you'll play it. I just don't want to give it to someone who won't play. And like, no one's claimed it yet because everyone just says like, oh, I'm too busy, or like, I haven't played baseball games in a long time, or like some of them have like stopped following baseball. But yeah, like if I can't even give away a copy, that doesn't bode well for the ability to like sell more copies. And maybe like I'm not good at selling it, or I also wasn't doing a hard sell because I don't like push someone into taking it, then having them feel obligated to play. But I'm targeting people who I know used to love Stratomatic or used to love baseball, and even they don't want a copy for free. Sci-fi series, I feel like people either never play it or is basically the only game they play. I mean, if I can't get a former Stratomatic player to take a free copy of the game, I mean, that's a big sign that this is going to be a hard game to grow. I do wonder if I'm going to stream less once Civilization 7 comes out, because that was a like a few different iterations of Civ have been games that I used to play a lot. I know since the thing is they don't really have to grow, I assume. They've been doing this for 25 years. Must be enough people interested to keep it kicking. Talking about me playing, well, I don't mind streaming OOTP because I know what I'm doing and I think I have things to offer people, especially new players. I don't know that I have anything to offer people who play Civilization. I always do the same approach, no matter the civilization, at the same level. I just like doing it on different maps. Like, as weird as I get testing the boundaries of the base game in OTP, I'm like the exact opposite in Civilization. I'd be the most boring Civ streamer ever. But Tongmado, if you stream it, I'll watch you play. All right, so 550 contact, 550 gap now is almost done. Oops. Oh, how far did I get? I fat fingered something and it skipped back to the. Okay, average outfield of three. That's as far as I got. Okay. All right, so we're almost done with this team. Awesome. Oh, oh, it's not. Okay, did I screw this up on other players too? I have to go back and check now. Let me finish and then I'll double check. I'm assuming because Civilization is such a strategic game, there's probably a lot of overlap between OOTP and Civilization players. I mean, there's probably overlap between OOTP and computer game players in general, but oh, see, look at that. Out of habit, I've made these 538s. Time has a pretty solid PC, but I'm not sure my internet can handle me streaming. Oh, yeah. Thought about streaming Eve, but streaming is far more taxing than just playing. That might be true for other games. I actually find that it's easier for me to stream OOTP based game than it is to just play by myself. Um, because the parts that are tedious, like this part here in this experiment, is super tedious. But knowing y'all are there in the chat helps me like power through it a little bit. Okay, so Power Braves. All right, this is the last power team, and then we have got one more attribute to go, and they're ready to sim. Oh, sorry, hold on a second. Sorry, I've got to set one thing up here. I realize I usually have I should have my stream on a tablet so I can see when we're on ads, and I didn't have it on. So now I have it on. Okay. Togmado streamed a few times more than a decade ago. What did you stream, Togmado? I was at my friend's house once, and his kids were watching Twitch, and I was like, What is that?" And they're like, "Oh, we're watching this guy playing this game." And I'm like, "Wait, what? You're watching someone play a game? Why would you do that?" And now I'm on Twitch. That's so funny to me. I should tell his kids that I'm on Twitch now. They'd probably get a kick out of it. I think I just made the other guy a Gap guy, so I got to go back and check. Oh no, I did it right. What do you know? Surprising myself. World of Tanks and Eve. Interesting. Um, did those games have like affiliate equivalents, and were you an affiliate? I'm assuming not every game fits the drops model, but I'll confess, Tomato, I've actually never heard of Eve, but if you ever stream it, I will definitely check it out. Mostly so I can see what this game Eve is like, but also so I can see what a Tomato stream is like. Oh, I did this one backwards. Okay, now I'm starting to worry that I'm really messing stuff up here. Fortunately, 538 is not that different from 550, but you're not. I know they have that now, but no, yeah. I don't necessarily know that that model fits every game. Yeah, that one's okay. That one's okay. Okay, I think I just made one mistake, and I just worried that I made the mistake multiple times, but looks okay. Yeah, but like when I after my buddy's kids told me what they were watching, I just like on the way home, I just laughed and laughed, thinking like people watch other people play video games? What is that? And now like I'm completely immersed in this Twitch community for OTP. So funny. Eve is like OTP. No, are you serious? Wait, is it is it a sport played in space? I don't know what that means. There are a lot of spreadsheets and third-party resources and websites used that were created by the community. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's the last thing I need is to get sucked into another thing that's like OTP. The funny thing is, for the longest time, I would open OTP to play the base game, like glance at the perfect team thing, and just like ignore it. I think because I never opened it, I never quite understood from the opening. I was just like, What? Like, it's cards? It didn't seem interesting to me at all. And then I forget how I made because even just by opening it, it doesn't, there's nothing that, I don't think there's nothing like immediately leads you to Twitch to understand that, like, oh, like you can get more packs by watching these streams. I don't know how I even found the streams. Like I've been trying to remember because it's coming up on a year now. So I've been thinking a lot about like how did this all start for me? And but it was definitely like it if it weren't for discovering the Twitch community around this game, I don't think I'd be still be as obsessed with Perfect Team as I am now. Because like Perfect Team's fun, but it's only fun because there's a community around it. Like Otherwise, you win a tournament and like, oh, that's exciting, but then who really cares? But in the community, like people kind of care, like the 5L and 6L monthlies and stuff. And um, okay, so the average power teams are done. We've got one more attribute to go, and then we can start the sim. Let's see how many forms we have submitted. All right, we're off to a pretty good start on the pack giveaway forms. Hi, Santa, welcome in. There's a oh, it got unpinned. Let me repin the form for the 10-pack giveaway. We're doing another Deadball test tonight. And we added a bunch of player names to the to the completely average league quick start. You know what? I can't find this. So I'm gonna just copy it again and paste it again. Wait, Kaki Santa, it's Thursday. Kaki Santa, are you dad? It's Thursday. Oh, you're at the hospital. Long induction process has gone nowhere. So we're resting. Oh man. Yeah, it is a long process. That's interesting though, because it must be the middle of night for you, right? Link to form for tonight's 10-pack giveaway. Midnight. Yeah. So when we induced, so my wife was 40 weeks and 10 days. So when we got to 40 weeks plus like 3 days, they scheduled us for the induction. Said like if the baby comes before then that's fine, but like they wanted it on the books. And so we went in at like 7 a.m. like we're going to work. Like we got up, we had our bags packed, we got in the car. No, I think it was 8 a.m. We had to be there by 8 a.m. And like it took all day, but man, we weren't there till midnight. Wow. Did you go in the evening then? Or have you been there since the morning? Talkvado's first one took 16 hours. Second one came like 5 minutes after we got there. So around what time did they start your induction process today? Maybe we're just on a different schedule because they started us like at 8 a.m. when we got there. So, but Kage-san, the form is pinned now, so you should be able to check it out. Good to have you in here. Good luck with the baby. Okay, this is the stealing teams. Oh, this is interesting. This is gonna be interesting because we're gonna have to go all the way down to the secondary attributes. I also find it interesting that stealing doesn't have potential. Like all the secondary attributes don't have potential. Okay, 215, I did not know it would take me this long to update all these attributes. Thank goodness Max prefers that I raid into him later than earlier. Less time for Max to fill. Yeah, I hear you. I used to worry that I was like, oh, I need to finish up so Max can go on. I'm glad you told me that you prefer that I take longer. Kayaking Santa, did you did you bring any baseball card packs with you to the hospital? I watched Kayaking Santa stream the other day, and he was opening some packs of real baseball cards, which I thought was really cool because I just haven't seen that in so long. No, you opened three last night for fun and luck. That's awesome. Pulled a gold foil Xander Bogarts, which is that's cool. Great dog, man. That's so funny. That would be a good way to pick a baby name. All right, first card I pull is the name. That's amazing. Hopefully you don't get Johnny Dick shot. We're halfway through this cycle and we haven't had a Johnny Dick shot card yet either. I'm sure D Block is reminding Sporer on a regular basis that we have not had a Johnny Dick shot card yet this cycle. Oh yeah, so if I say Johnny Dickshot is definitely a founding member of the NSFW team for sure. D Block actually sent around once a really interesting article on how it was something like the family name was changed when they immigrated to the U.S. or like I think the father chose the name or something. And D Block made the great observation that like so Johnny Dickshot had a sister, and he was like, I'm sure she was thrilled at their new name. Now, this is something we haven't done before, which is to add in steals as part of the um, into the mix. So it might it might not. I mean, so it's not going to impact OPS, or I wouldn't expect it to OPS. That sounds like the kind of thing that would surprisingly blow my mind that increasing stealing somehow changes OPS. But it could have a big impact on runs potentially because stealing was such a big part of the game back then. But it'll be interesting to see. We just haven't experimented with it before. The only time we did was we did a test to see which secondary attribute does it help to max out the most. Right, so we tried one team that was like 520 speed, one team that, or 250 speed, one team that was 250 stealing ability, and so on. And that was back when we were still using the team records, so there was nothing, that could be considered like definitive. But now that we have different ways of testing the impact of these attributes, it might be worth doing again. Max says tomorrow night I finally get to build all the rosters I want to tomorrow on stream. Oh, that's awesome. Wait, I thought you said you're not streaming tomorrow night. Or is it tonight you're not streaming? No, wait, tonight you are streaming. Wait, what? Wait, I thought didn't you just say there's a night you're not streaming because you're streaming in the morning? Maybe I misunderstood that. Okay, last team, folks. Thanks for your patience. Last team. You start later on Thursday, AK2. Oh, got it. Okay. Got it, got it, got it. And you no longer catch a raid from Wednesday, so I don't know what's going on, but I think you used to try to start early after Ezra, and now you just start at your regular time. Which seems to be working out for you. I caught the morning end of your stream, and you had like 200 plus folks in there. So you must be gathering a lot of viewers in that morning slot, which is awesome. I thought about leaving this fourth team just a control, but I mean as an experimental control, not control pitching, um, and just seeing how it compares to other teams. But then I thought stealing is such a big part of Deadball era. I wanted to see what happened if we did this. Oh, Nersha and you go at the same time. Interesting. And then you raid into EVC. Got it. Oh, so he thought you were awake all night. That's amazing. I just sometimes think like, oh, it'd be cool if we can actually do this stream during the day and like have more people in our little experiment community. But then I think I kind of like that we have this like smaller group. It's like a small dedicated group. And we have yet to have a night where we only have one contestant in the pack giveaway. So I feel good about that. Like as far as I know, there's only like what 5, 10 people who know that contact is the most important batter attribute in Deadball era. I mean, I'm not trying to keep it a secret, but I do like that it kind of rewards the people who check out the stream because we share the information freely on the stream and in Discord, but there's not that many of you, so you have like access to limited information. That's also why I'm excited that like so many people are redeeming points to play creator roster and stuff because to me like that's my way to give back to everyone who watches the stream is to to let y'all play one of our games. Speaking of games, uh D Block is going to play creator roster our Sunday night, and um Flying WV I think is still planning to play Saturday night. Let me double check. It might be tomorrow night, actually. Um, but yeah, we have two more contestants incoming. So, oh, Smiley Face Jane, you're gonna have to hold it though. Oh, that's for the one you already. Okay, got it, got it. You just got enough points. Yes, yes, thank you. I had already forgotten, so you probably could have gotten away with it, but I appreciate your honesty. Okay. I think we're done. I think we're done. Let me save this. Yeah, Talk Vado. Smiley Face Jane temporarily went into channel point debt. The VIG on that debt was pretty high, but it was paid back quickly enough that I don't have to break any kneecaps. Let's save this as a quick start in case we want to use it again, especially since it took so much time to build. And where's that notepad that had the file name on it? That attribute contact plus. Now this has fewer characters, so okay. Batters on all teams have 550 contact. That's from 538 BABIP and 538 avoid K. And teams with maximum power, gap, I, or stealing. Okay. So save that quick start. Oh, you were going to talk about. I was going to ask what the VIG was. Do you mean what percentage was the VIG, or are you asking what a VIG is? Oh, since you're asking about debt, I'm assuming, yeah. So yeah, you know what a VIG is. You're asking what VIG I charge. Okay, I think we're set. Let me just double check that we have the modifiers on so that we get that dead ball vibe. I don't know what kind of VIG do you think I should charge on that time? 100% a day? Oh yeah, so no, we want to lock we want it to set modifiers. So oh yeah, we have to oh yeah, we have to do all of this. We have to do we have to change the year. Okay, four-man rotations, 18 position players, 26-man rosters, non-DH league. Oh, so you'll be looking for more batters than we have, but that's fine. So it's gonna auto calc the modifiers, but I want to see what they are now. So we'll just hit this auto calc button. Gotta at least triple the Fed's VIG. That's funny. I've never heard I've never heard the Fed referred to as having a VIG, but that's funny. Um, so I grew up in the Northeast. I After I said it, I'm like, oh, maybe no one's gonna get that because maybe it's like a Northeast thing. But Tomato got it. The vig is what like loan sharks or bookies charge you for if you carry a balance of them or um, Slyface. I think Tonk has to pay 10% for each name from tonight since the first redemption of those always triggers a chain. Okay, wow. Check out the home run modifier here, 0.132. That's a pretty heavy walk modifier, also. Hawkman can afford it. Wow, the strikeout modifier is 6.451. That seems insane. Well, we'll see what happens. Oh, so should I boost the stamina so the pitchers can make it through the season? I mean, they're getting some boost from the game, from the modifiers, but I don't know that that's going to be enough considering how much power and eye and contact they're facing. Oh, Tagmater, you shouldn't brag about how many points you have in the channel. Someone might bonk you on the head and steal them on your way out to the parking lot. You think it'll be okay? Yeah, I think it'll be. I think with a 15% boost, maybe they'll make it. Okay, let's resave this. I wanted the quick start without the year change, but Claydog, you can do what? Oh, you can steal Togmato's points. I like Dog's asking too, as if like Tog has like hard copy uh channel points in his pocket. That's great. Okay, so we're ready to go, I think. Let me change the manager options real quick so we're not interrupted. And then change the mailbox. And then we're ready to go, I think. So I'll do our usual thing. I am out of water. And I do need to use a restroom. So we'll do. It took me so long to get to this point. I almost like forgot our usual routine. Ooh, the PC is getting pretty laggy. Let me see if I can close anything before we start. Yeah, I can close this. And I can close BREF, I guess. Okay, hopefully closing a few things helps. All right, so for those of you new to our channel, at this point, everything's ready to go. This is the 3-minute warning for anyone who's working on their form and hasn't submitted their guesses yet. And I'm going to run ads for 3 minutes to give y'all time to finish those forms and for me to get ready for the rest of the stream. So I'll see you all in 3 minutes. Okay, that's weird. I think maybe I did something wrong because the ad break is not starting. Oh, all right, let me try that again. Failed to start. Did we just come out of an ad break or something? I wonder if that's why it's not starting. Let me see. I mean, I guess I could just leave this BRB up and have it on mute, but I'm also worried about the ads rolling during the sim. Is anyone seeing? Well, I guess you won't hear me if you're seeing ads. Okay, I'm just gonna go on mute and I'll be back as soon as I can. Okay, everybody, I am back. I don't know if anyone ended up getting ads or not. I didn't see them roll on the tablet I use to keep an eye on the chat or on the stream. So, um, yeah, so I don't know if I was gone for more or less than 3 minutes, but I am ready to continue if you all are. Let me get caught up on chat here. Tom Vader doesn't go to the parking lot. It's too hot. Oh, Marbek, good morning. Buenos dias. We're doing experiment in 1910 today, Marbeck. Tomatoes in the Phoenix metro area. Don't dock yourself too much. Last week it was literally 109 in October? That seems insane. Wow. I like having four seasons. I like a little bit of heat. I also like having snow. I like four seasons. Oh, Tomato, I didn't realize you were new to the desert. There's a weird pipeline of people from Wisconsin moving down there. Interesting. I guess it's the people who are tired of the winter or self-selecting themselves down to Arizona. Seems like there's a middle ground you could find somewhere though that's not 109 in October. I mean, I lived in Georgia when I went to Georgia Tech, and you get pretty hot, muggy summers, but you don't really get very cold winters either. I don't know. Maybe they're getting 109 these days too. Who knows? All right. Is anyone still working on their form? Because if not, I'm going to close it. Alex says, agreed, fall and spring are the best times of the year. It's nice to enjoy a little summer and winter too. Yeah. Yeah, it seemed like a brutal place to live was. I visited my friend in Kansas. He was going to University of Kansas out in Lawrence, and it was super hot and humid in the summer. And he said it's brutal in the winter, like cold and lots of snow. And he said like spring and fall were pretty short. And I was like, God, that sounds awful. One of the reasons I like Portland is like spring and fall are really long. Time will be out of Arizona before next summer. If you don't mind my asking, Tommy, from where did you move to Arizona? Okay, I'm not hearing any objections to closing the forum, so I want to close it. And oh, this is great. This is pretty high for us. We got six respondents tonight. That's exciting. We do have the best pack giveaway odds in all of OTP, I think, even at six. Some nights we have two. That's 100% winning odds. Timmy was in Salt Lake since 2010, but from Sacramento originally. Awesome. I've been to Sacramento. I don't think I've been to Salt Lake. I'm trying to think if I have or not. I actually don't think I have. I'm going to show you what the guesses are. As always, we're going to hide the names for now. I think it keeps it more interesting that way. And I'm going to space this so we don't see the numerical guesses. We save those for later. Okay, let me get ready to share these with you. All right, so here's what we've got in terms of guesses. It was one of the best cities I've ever seen 20 years ago, but it's grown too much too fast. Yeah, I felt that way about Seattle. I lived in Seattle for about 6 years before moving to Portland, and it was crazy how fast it grew, and it did not grow for the better in most ways, I think. Okay, so which team will score the most runs? This is great. The guesses are all over the place. No one betting on Steel, though, for the most runs. So that's interesting. All right, then the next question is which team will have the highest OPS? The same mix of answers, except I salute the person who's guessing steel is going to impact OPS because I did say if we did find that, it would be one of those things that we learned that blows my mind. I do like it when the game blows my mind or the experiments blow my mind. So, fifth contestant down or sixth contestant down, I will be rooting for you. I think steals is the wild card here. I have no idea what steals will do at this point. It's an important attribute in Deadball. Steals are a big factor there, but I don't know how 250 steals and 250 aggressiveness is going to play. All right, well, we've got 2 for gap, 2 for eye, 1 for power. Oh, sorry. 3 for gap in the first one, 3 for gap for runs, 3 for gap, 2 for eye, 1 for power. And then for OPS, we have 2 for gap, 2 for eye, 1 for power, 1 for steals. Clay Dog thinks power might be a sneaky winner, but went eye. Tomato votes eye for everything. If AW were here, AW would vote against BABIP for everything, right? Okay, this is cool. I like it when the answers are so mixed like this. It makes for a more fun sim, I think. All right, let's roll it. All right, we're still on a 2023 schedule, even though it's a 1910 sim. So we still get those 2 games right out of the gates in March. You know, can't draw many conclusions for this, so we'll just go into the next full month. I guess it's worth noting that no one's hit any home runs in 2 days, so we are definitely getting a dead ball effect. Actually, let's just see what the scores look like. I mean, there's some runs scored, which is interesting. Oh, we have a lot of 550 players, that's why. So we're not going to see true dead ball scores, but we are seeing dead ball home run levels. So that's interesting. I mean, it is 2 days, but all right. Let's go to the next month. Holy cow. I was taken in the NL, but let's see what's going on here. I is atop both leagues, but I hesitate to say that it's only 1 game ahead of Steels in the AL. It's 5 games ahead of Gap in the NL. And again, we expect to see lots of noise because with these standings, there's so many other factors that go into winning and losing games, which is why we've gone away from the standings as the measure of impact. Do another month. I is still staying in front though. That's interesting. That could bode well for statistically too, but the rest are kind of all over the place. Right? If you take out I, it goes power, steel, gap, and then it goes gap, steel, power. So actually, the complete reverse in both. But it's tight. It's 6 game spread in the AL. It's 12 in the NL, but 3 and 4 are virtually tied, and 1 and 2 are very close. So uh, we'll have to probably wait to crack open the stats to really figure out what's going on here. Now, one thing that is going to be interesting when we look at the stats is because we have some 550 batters, right? We know how the normalization kind of works. So the average power hitters are going to be like super nerfed power hitters because all the power is going to go to our 550 power guys, I would assume. Okay, so at the end of June, Oh, where's DeBum? Let's see. Oh yeah, Jacob DeBum leading in ERA. Lil Debbie, Batter War, third place. I do like it when the names fall. Oh, Lil Debbie leading in home runs with 8. Okay, so I is leading in both leagues. Now the spreads are 9 and 5 games though, so it is seeming more significant. But it's still all over the place for the rest. It goes Steel, Power, Gap, and they're virtually tied in the AL. And then it's Gap, Steel, Power with a pretty big jump from Gap to Steel in the NL. All right, let's go to the All Star break. Now let's sim one more day to get to the All Star game. Okay, I is still first in both leagues. So I face says my OPS guess isn't going to be close. Oh yeah, I guess we can see the OPS over here. And then rest in the AL goes Power, Steel, Gap. Gap, Steel, Power in the NL. So still all over the place beyond I. But I think one of the reasons I wanted to do this was I think one of the comments last time was okay, Gap isn't the most important in 1910, but maybe it will be when it's attached to contact. But so far, it's not as clear here. No players even reaching what I guess the top team to get. Oh, interesting. Well, y'all have a chance then, everybody. I know when you saw Smiley Face Jan here, you thought, "Oh, I'm playing for 3 packs," but you heard it here. You might have a chance at first tonight. Okay, so let's see what happened with the All Star voting. So I think what we're going to be looking for here is just trends, right, on what what team you see showing up here. Although there's only going to be 4 catchers, right? There's 4 teams. So really you want to look for like are there trends on what team you see at the top more often than not? So the top 2 are I and Power, then Steel and I and Gap, Power and Gap, I and Power, Power I, Gap Steel. There's Ken Iffy Jr., third in center field votes. I Power, Steel Gap. So it seems all over the place. Now with the pitchers who are doing the best should be on the teams that are most offensively strong because they're not facing the strongest offensive team, right? Because they're on the offensive team. So I don't know. Maybe it's a sign that 3 I pitchers are in the top for All Star voting. All right, and we look at the neutral league. I Power, Power I. There's Homer Runson, and Lil Debbie, I Power. So we are consistently seeing I in the mix at the top 2. Not every time, but pretty consistently so. Uh, Shane Tyrino, second in votes in center field. Ronald Ocana in right field. Bobby Vanilla in at the DH. Oh, look at the pitchers. It's a who's who of named players. Duck Red, Sir Whiffs-a-Lot, Jerry Coosboy, and Dusty Mound, newly named Dusty Mound. And in the relievers,